Much indeed, Joe. See you later on. Stay with us. We'll be back with more news and the latest from Libya coming up after this short break. See you in a moment.
As the fog hangs warily over London, we can always offer you the perfect pick-me-up.
Welcome back to your international weather forecast. Well, across the United States over the next couple of days, we're going to see a combination of weather. First, in the southeastern part of the United States, we could see some severe weather. Take a look at the forecast map. We have a cold front pushing down from the north, and this is going to be bringing some heavy rain showers, thunderstorms, the possibility of hail, as well as tornadic activity, possibly from Thursday night as we go into Friday. Then over towards the west, a lot of snow in the forecast. Look at this. Snow from California, Utah, as well as Colorado, even some heavy rain showers down to parts of Los Angeles over the next couple of days. As we make our way a little further to the south in parts of the Caribbean as well as Central America, we're going to be seeing some very heavy rain showers along that eastern coastline. We've seen a lot of rain over the last couple of days, localized flooding for Costa Rica, Nicaragua, as well as Guatemala. But as you take a look towards the north, Cuba, as well as Jamaica, looking quite fine, and those temperatures are in the mid to high 20s. We are going to be seeing a mix of weather across parts of Europe. Over here towards the west, the winds are going to be coming out of the southwest. The winds are going to be bringing those milder temperatures in. Take a look at those highs that we expect on Thursday. 14 degrees for London, 12 for Paris, and also down towards the Iberian Peninsula. Not looking too bad, but still extremely cold out towards the east.
Qatar Airways, world's 5-star airline.
On the next Riz Khan show, is the pen mightier than the sword? Can literature inspire revolutions? And what role do artists and intellectuals play on the front line of popular uprisings? Riz Khan, at this time on Al Jazeera.
As geeks take on dictators, bloggers turn dissidents, and social networks root for social justice, governments are going cyber, spying on their citizens, erecting firewalls like iron curtains, and closing down websites. We ask, is cyber-generated change virtual or real? Empire on Al Jazeera.
Colonel Gaddafi battles to hold on to cities in the west of the country amid reports that the east is now almost entirely in the hands of protesters. Hello, I'm Taimur Nabili from Al Jazeera's news centre here in Doha, continuing coverage of the uprising in Libya. These are the main developments. As many as 1,000 people are now feared killed. The protesters in Benghazi are now celebrating what they think is freedom from the regime. Calls to action in the US and EU, both countries confirming that they are considering sanctions against Libya. And Libya's former justice minister says that he has evidence that Colonel Gaddafi ordered the 1988 Lockerbie bombing. Well, it is now 9 p.m. in Libya's capital, which is reportedly deserted as gunmen loyal to the regime roam the streets. Protesters in the eastern city of Benghazi, however, are out on the streets celebrating what they see as their success at pushing out the colonel's loyalists. Well, in the eastern city of Tobruk, which is close to the Egyptian border, there's no presence of security forces being reported at all in the area. The eastern province of Cyrenaica is also in the hands of pro-democracy protesters. That's according to Italy's Foreign Minister Franco Frattini. It's the same situation in the western city of Misurata. Army officers have reportedly thrown their weight now behind the protesters and the calls for Gaddafi to go. And Tripoli is said to be in virtual lockdown, a sign that Muammar Gaddafi may be aware that the defecting soldiers from the east may be heading his way. We'll be live in the UN headquarters in New York in just a moment for the latest on the diplomatic developments. First, Lawrence Lee with this report.
Muammar Gaddafi may have used his famous green book in his address to threaten protesters with death, but in the town of Tobruk, this is what they think of it. Here, the commander of the Libyan army has told Al Jazeera that his forces are with the people, not Gaddafi.
I was with him in the past, but the situation has changed. He's a tyrant. I've heard him in his speech. We're not separate. We're not secessionists. We're not asking for separation.
Pictures like this serve to demonstrate the standoff that's now holding in Libya. The people of the uprising say victory will be theirs. Gaddafi remains immune to pressure.
I will not leave the country, and I will die as a martyr at the end.
Everywhere it's tense, the situation fluid. This is the town of Misrata in western Libya, which has reportedly fallen to the opposition. If these new pictures are accurate, then they would seem to bear that out, but the country remains split. This video purports to show the aftermath of fighting on the streets of Tripoli between pro- and anti-Gaddafi forces. It's been widely reported from the capital and Benghazi that gangs of yellow-hatted militia have been given free rein to move house to house in the hunt for the opposition. This, Gaddafi's address of Tuesday night, all his tactics have enraged even those who know him well.
He's using mercenaries, not because he wants to use them, because he cannot use the army. He cannot use the armed forces of Libya because they are Libyans and they are faithful and honest people. They will not kill themselves, because killing their cousins and uncles and friends, it means that they are killing themselves. So he doesn't trust them. He doesn't trust even his own guard.
What's beyond dispute is the chaos on the streets and the danger which protesters often run headlong into. Here, for instance, there seem to be snipers on the roof of the building opposite. There's a small crack, and a man goes down, shot in the groin. But while the international media is now beginning to find ways into Libya, interpreting the direction events are heading in remains as difficult for people in the country as it does for the outside world. The latest rumour, again unverifiable unless it happens, is that Gaddafi has threatened to blow up his oil pipelines, which would bring havoc to a country already beset by poverty and would have ramifications on oil prices across the world. If that's leading to an exodus of expatriates, then it's this kind of thing which is putting the fear into everybody. These people, whoever they were, tied up, blindfolded and executed. We were passed this picture by a fleeing migrant on the border with Egypt. After he filmed it, he ran. Lawrence Lee, Al Jazeera.
Well, the United States has now condemned the violence in Libya and says it's working with the United Nations to review its various options. These are thought to include possible sanctions against Libya. Scott Heidler is at the UN headquarters in New York. Scott, we've seen a bit of diplomatic commentary already today. What's the latest from where you are?
Tamar, well, really not much, because the Security Council has met today, but they're not talking about Libya today. We're hearing from some of the missions for the members of the Security Council that it's not on the schedule today for the Security Council, nor is it on the Council's schedule for tomorrow on Thursday. We're hearing the next action, United Nations action with Libya.